It's DSP's Top 10 Worst Gaming Moments of 2010. Number 3. Fallout New Vegas's game-breaking bugs and glitches. Obsidian Entertainment knew what they were taking on when they created the large, expansive world of Fallout New Vegas. In fact, it was announced far before the game's release that the strategy guide for New Vegas would be the longest written word strategy guide ever created for any game ever. Promising over 80 hours of content, it was definitely a daunting project. Now, the game itself is very good, and if you watch my playthrough, you know I enjoyed the game thoroughly. The problem is that this game had a significant amount of bugs, glitches, and problems that basically hampered everyone's playthrough experience. Now, I played this game on the Xbox 360. Personally, these are the bugs I ran into. First of all, a lot of clipping issues, a lot of characters phasing in and out of walls, which was kind of weird. Some enemies that would actually appear inside the ground, so you were unable to shoot them. At one point, I was trying to get into the strip, and my passport to the strip just decided to stop working, which basically gave my gameplay, brought it to a grinding halt. I had to reload an older save, which basically lost 90 minutes of content that I had already played, and I had to redo it, which was very frustrating. I have to say that story-wise, the most disappointing part was the Brotherhood of Steel missions, which, if you haven't played the game, are some of the hardest missions in the game. They make you go to multiple locations, multiple vaults and instances on the map in order to collect items and fight some of the hardest enemies in the game, and then when you hand them in, eventually you're supposed to be able to get the power armor. Well, unfortunately, my game bugged up, and the mission never completed, and I was unable to get the power armor because of that. That really pissed me off. But I think the number one problem with this game that everyone agrees on, at least on the Xbox 360, is the loading times and memory leaks. Now, let me explain what a memory leak is. It's basically when memory is used on a computer to load certain things, and then when you leave that area, basically that memory should be freed up to load other things. Now, commonly this problem is with web browsing. So, for example, if you're on the internet and it loads a certain web page, when you leave that page and go to the next page, the memory that was loading the pictures, the ads, and everything on that first page should be cleared up so it can be used to load the next page. Well, a lot of the times this doesn't happen, and this is why your browser gets bogged down and takes forever to load things. The same exact problem is happening with Fallout New Vegas at least on the Xbox 360 and PS3. What would happen is it would load one area, then when you tried to go inside a building or fast travel somewhere else, the memory wouldn't be freed up to load the new area, therefore it would take a significant amount of time to load. In fact, I actually timed it, and the longest period of time it took to load for me was actually over 5 minutes. That is just unacceptable in 2010 to have a game that takes over 5 minutes to load if it's not installing something. So, just not acceptable at all. Now, during my playthrough, I was recommended some workarounds. For example, I was told to delete the significant number of save games that I had accumulated over the course of my playthrough and only just minimize it to a couple. Also, I was told that if I turned off my Xbox 360 every couple of hours, it would actually refresh the memory and free it up, and actually did work. So that is pretty bad that a retail release would be released with such significant game bugs that could definitely hamper the performance of your playthrough. If you watch my Hateful Truth on New Vegas, you know I docked the game a significant number of points because of this. This is definitely still a Game of the Year contender, one of the best games of the year, and definitely worth the purchase price, but you have to understand that you're going to have a significant amount of bugs if you go to try this game. And even worse is that PC users still, at least from what I hear, are waiting for a patch that's going to fix some of these problems. A lot of these problems are still present and just have never been fixed. So, unacceptable to have a retail release this day and age that has so many bugs. Shame on Bethesda, shame on Obsidian for not catching these, that everyone who bought the game caught them and their testers didn't. That's just bad. Coming up next, how do you already take a miserably bad IP and make it even worse? Let's find out.